Hey everyone, today I just wanted to go over a prototype for a keyboard I'm building. Just to warn you, I don't know what I'm doing. Um, this has just been something I've been interested in for a few years now, and I thought, might as well try to bite the bullet now. So just a bit of background, I've used laptops my entire life. I haven't really used desktop computers at all. So I'm very used to the low profile uh, of the laptop keyboards. Very used to trackpads, which is what I'm using here. So when starting out this journey, I don't think I really realized about myself, where I needed a low profile. So when I first got into this, I thought, let me get clicky keyboards. They're fun, they're loud, they feel good. I wanted something a bit more ergonomic because over time, see, this is the keyboard I'm using now. Just the wrist placement hurt. Holding control and clicking some buttons was a bit uncomfortable. I was really prioritizing my right hand over my left hand, and I wasn't really using my pinkies, so just a lot of movement with my hands. So I figured, let me try something new. And sorry, I've got everything off to the side here, but it's all in a pile. My desk is a mess. There's two halves to this, just with a cable here. But this is the Swoop. I bought this pre-assembled from Beekeeps on Etsy, who killed it. I mean, it's perfect. There's no issues with anything. A few things I didn't really realize about this. One, like I said, the profile, I need low profile, and this is just too high. It's not comfortable to me. And all these issues are on me. It's not with the actual keyboard. Two, I thought I would like the column stagger, but I don't. It was just really throwing off my my typing, where I just could not figure out where the keys were unless I was looking right at them. And so yeah, that was sort of the main things. Also, what I realized was that when you shrink down the keyboard, you're trying to make each finger more efficient. So, with this, like your every key is a finger away, or every key is just one away from the home room. But I don't type with my pinky. Like I never do this. Like it feels uncomfortable. My pinky, like it doesn't really reach there naturally. So that was kind of a bust. Also, these inner keys were really annoying. So that was causing me a headache. The wires, it just wasn't ideal. I should have done more research. Definitely not a knock on the keyboard. It's great. It works. So that was on me. I did like, though, the idea of the layers. These three keys, I think I had it like one was backspace, one was space, layer 1, layer 2, things like that. I also liked combos, so I had this as comma, and then on the right side was period. I had like parentheses and stuff. So I was really interested in the customization of the key map, but I just was not a fan of this keyboard layout. So after that, I bought this one, which I showed, just traditional. I feel like I just wanted a bit of a breather. So I used this for a while. I really like it. It's built really well. It works perfectly. There's just something about it that I just make a lot of errors while typing. I don't know if it's because of the keycap material. Maybe it feels like more slippery to me, or maybe these have the Moss switches. This is the Newfie Air 75 V2. So they're Moss switches, which are tactile. But I was trying to mimic the feel of the ThinkPad keyboard, because that's my work laptop, and I really like that keyboard. Like how you very gently can like reach that point of actuation, and when you press it, it's really satisfying. So this really does, get there with that feeling. But maybe it's just the travel length, or the spring weight is not exactly what I'm used to. But something about it, I'm just always making mistakes on this. It feels really good when you type a sentence and everything flows perfectly. There are no errors. You feel like you're like a magician. But then, every third or fourth sentence, I kind of like lose my spot on this keyboard, which is strange. So after that, I got a basic Logitech membrane keyboard, which was fine. I just sort of wanted to reset. I was getting a little too into this hobby without really knowing what I was getting into. So I figured, let me just get it cheap. I got it at Target. It was on clearance because it was like an open package that they repackaged. But I'm not using that right now because I guess I put something heavy on my desk and like a corner of a box or something was lying on this. So this key's busted on that one, which sucks. But then, so this was like 2 years ago or 3 years ago now. I got this like 2 years ago. Other keyboard I had for maybe about a year. Then very recently, and ignore the missing switches and keycaps, I got this. This is the Howery 36, pre-assembled from Weird Little Keebs on Etsy, who was super helpful. Some things I like about this keyboard. I like that it's smaller. I like the chalk. I thought I would like this a lot more, but it's just not. It's not built for computers. You can't really use this. But yeah, there's like, I like those things. You know, I think this is a cool keyboard. I think if I really put the time into it, I would really like to use it, but I feel like my wrists are just too close. It also, it uses Via as like the sort of browser editor. And Via does not have combos, which I wanted to make use of. So that was unfortunate. I know there's a way to, I don't even know what the word is, but have a firmware from QMK, then like reconfigure it or whatever to make it compatible with Via. But I figured like, let me just do that with another keyboard. Like, why spend all the effort on something like this, which I know is not going to be my daily driver. So as you can see, I've used it for parts for this next bit because I figured, you know what, let me try to actually create a keyboard. And let me reach over here. I got really interested in the artsy layout, that one keyboard, or the one handed keyboard with 8 keys. I just got super sucked into minimal keyboards, as small as possible, you know, as almost as unintuitive as possible, because I felt like that was a better way to like personalize it to someone's strengths. But that's kind of not how it works. But this is what I came up with. I added a thumb key here, and then this keyboard basically became my test keyboard for figuring out spacing and where my fingers lie and seeing how I can adapt that into a new keyboard. So I found pretty quickly that my hands sort of just rest where my index and my middle finger are on these keys, ring finger down to the left, pinky down to the left. So this is very comfortable for me. So I figured, you know what, I can also like sort of clone that one key below, so I can just move everything down, and I'll just have one big thumb key here. These are just, I think, the 9 most common letters in the alphabet. So I was like, let me try to do this. But then the next step was, okay, I need a key map for this, because I'm not gonna like build this and then I figure out a key map doesn't work. So that's where this comes in. This was such a big waste of time. I don't have Photoshop or anything. I'm not really interested in learning that right now. So when I see like guides on Reddit and on KBD News or whatever, I see people are able to like put together a really clean key map for those small keyboards, like graphics. But I like to do things on paper. So I was like, let me just draw however many copies of the layout, then let me color in every possible combination I can think of. And then from there, I can group them. So the way I grouped them was minus the thumb key, how many keys are colored in. I think it's either between 1 or 4. I don't think I ever did 5. So I grouped those together. And then within each of those, I try to rank them based on how easy it was to type each of those combos. That's a horrible way to go about this, because without a physical keyboard that can emulate everything, I think there is a way, like, there's not even a way to do it. Actually, no, there is, like this. But without an actual keyboard to test this with, you really can't tell how easy something would be to press. And also, this was just going to take forever. Like, how am I going to rank how easy something is to press without just poring over this for hours and hours and hours and weeks? And it was exciting to get to this point, but then once I got to this point, it's like, man, is this really the best way to do this? I didn't think so. So I figured, you know what? I need an actual physical mock-up or prototype. And I decided to take this, make it two-handed, one-handed idea was cool. It's just not practical. Like I'm not going to use it, so why spend the time and effort and money on it? But wanted to adapt this to a split monobody. So they'll just like this, and I'll show the prototype I have. But also what I found was that when typing, I don't like moving my pinky or my ring, even if it's just one key up or down. It's just not comfortable. And with this layout, I couldn't really figure out which position was more comfortable for my fingers to lay on, if it was this top or bottom row. So I figured, you know what, let me just make it simpler. I'll take out 2 of these. I think I took out these 2, and I just added an extra thumb key. So split monoblock. I want to go wireless, but it's probably not the best option for me now because I've never created a firmware. I've never done anything like that before in my life. So I should just start with what I have maybe mistakenly heard is easier, but in my head it's easier to go with QMK to move to Vial, especially with that flexibility of editing things on the fly in the browser. So I went to Michael's and I got a bunch of stuff to sort of prototype. So I'll walk you through that process of how I did this. I got these cardstock papers, and what I found, this was so lucky because I was really dreading like drawing however many squares, like the right dimensions and the right distances and stuff, and like getting all the angles right. So I found these 2 things, and they happen to be pretty good substitutes for the dimensions of the switch and the keycap, where, this is almost the exact dimensions of the key, or of the switch. It's a little small, so what I did was that whenever I trace it, I would just get my X-Acto knife and cut it right outside of the outline, and that worked well enough. I would have to tweak it a bit more, but it was probably the easiest way to do this on... I had the idea yesterday to make the prototype, and I built it yesterday, so I just went with my first idea. And then this square here is basically the exact size of a chalk keycap. Look at that, it's perfect. So it was really easy for me to sort of trace each keycap, so I know like the spacing between where to put the switches. So I trace all the keycaps, then within each of those squares, I trace the switch right in the middle of those. Then I got 2, so I had the template on this top paper. On the bottom 2, I taped all of these together. So there's 3 papers taped together so they wouldn't move. I got my X-Acto knife and cut out the switch holes inside the keycap holes. That way, this was my template. It's got marker on it. I wanted something cleaner. I've got 2 exact copies of the cutouts of the switches. Then I was able to figure out the angle and tape them to this piece to create that monoblock layout or template, so that when I brought it over to foam board, I was able to just tape all this onto it, cut out everything again, and stick the actual switches in and stuff. And this is where I ended up, and I'm actually very happy I was able to get my idea onto a physical thing. It was very fulfilling. So this is where I'm at. Final shape is not determined yet. I just cut it down so it's easier to like carry across the house or the apartment and stuff. But this is where I'm at. As you can see, it's very minimal, but it fits my hands perfectly. I mean, it's like an exact fit. This is a lot easier than moving my pinkies and my ring finger. Also, I've got 2 thumb keys now to make it a bit easier to switch layers or, you know, have shift or controller in one. I could do home row mods. I've never done them before, so I need to see if that's, you know, how that works, or if there's a lot of obstacles there, given that I don't have that many keys. But yeah, this is where I'm at. I've got my switches in here. They're chalk yellows, which are too heavy, but they're the only chalk keys I own. So I just pulled them straight from this board to use in this. Ignore the lettering on this. I try to learn like Colmac or something on this, so I just wrote a legend on the keycaps. But yeah, this is where I'm at. I'm still determining like how much do I want to cut out from here? What do I want the middle section to look like? One thing I'm considering as well is usually on these monoblock keyboards, the controller is right in the middle. But I was finding like with this and my other ones, it's just annoying having, sorry, my cat has hair everywhere. It's annoying having the cable sticking straight up out because, you know, my desk is usually pretty cluttered and it just sort of even if it doesn't technically add to the clutter, it looks like it does. And I've got cables on my desk and it's just kind of annoying. So I was thinking maybe I can put it here so that it's already naturally at an angle towards like my USB port or whatever. And also maybe I can create a channel on the bottom of the case to have that cable follow so that it's not even like floating around on the top of it. It's coming out from the bottom or something. So that's what I'm considering. I'm planning on hand wiring this case, so I don't know how annoying that would be to have like really short cables here. These would need to be a lot longer. So I'm still playing with that idea. This is my first keyboard, so I guess it doesn't need to be perfect, but that's where I'm at. One thing also to note, I don't know if you can see here. Sorry, I only have like one, maybe, can I do this? Okay, I hope this is not like much better than before because I should have done this the whole video. These two keys they're not exactly parallel with the two top keys. I shifted them in, or I guess parallel in this orientation a little bit. Because when I'm typing, I found like my fingers aren't exactly going perpendicular. They're kind of also falling down, like towards me. So I just did that tiny shift and it feels a lot better. I'm not tapping on like the edge of the key every time now. But yeah, this is where I'm at. I've never 3D modeled. I've never 3D printed. My brother has a 3D printer, but he lives in another state. So I need to, work with him to see, does it make sense to go back and forth if we need to make a bunch of prototypes and like keep sending each other stuff, because that might get annoying. I want to find places that are local to me to see if they have 3D printer I can use. But the thing with that is that like, even if I can model something, if I learn how to do that, then I still need to learn how to use a 3D printer, and I don't own one. So it's like, is that really worth it for this? Like, maybe at another time, but I just want to get this done. I don't really want to learn how to use a 3D printer right now. I can also get one fabricated, I guess, through like PCBWay or something, but then that's sort of the same issue as working with my brother on this. So I don't know yet. I don't know how I'm gonna get a case printed. I don't know what the case is gonna look like. For the name of this, I'm kind of thinking, it looks like eyes and two eyebrows. I'm thinking either maybe like furrow, he's furrowing his brows, or maybe just like the browser, because it's a keyboard, computers, and he's got eyebrows. So that's what I'm thinking of right now. We'll see. Yeah, I think that's it. I will, I guess, keep working on this in the background, but this is not like this is not really my priority right now. Like on, spending all my free time on this and stuff. I just got married. I'm trying to save up a bit. So I'm not going to go out and buy a soldering iron today and order a controller. Like, I really want to take my time with this, see, if I can learn ZMK, that'd be great, because I would love this to be a wireless. I don't like wires. I'm not a gamer or anything. I don't care if there's a tiny, like a 10 millisecond delay. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I just want to try to get this as good as I can. That might not be perfect, but if it'll take me a few extra months to get it a little bit better, then, I'm not in a rush. Yeah, if you have any tips at all for, I guess, ZMK or QMK on how to write firmware, how to sort of understand the language, if there's any resources on the language that they use, please send whatever has helped you in the past my way. I'm starting from an ultimate beginner slot, so it's very intimidating because I feel like a lot of guides online assume that you have some programming knowledge. I don't really at all. I took comp sci in high school and that's it. That was, oh my gosh, that was what, almost 10 years ago? That was 7 years ago. So that's where I'm at. Any ideas for names? If you have any, let me know. I'm open to suggestions. I don't really know, like, I know there's like open source and GitHub and stuff. I don't know how any of that works. So maybe naming it is futile, because if people can't create this on their own, then what's the point of having a name? But I'm still learning all of this. I just got really excited by the thought of prototyping, and now I've just got to figure out my key map. But I think it'll be a lot easier to do it on this than all this. I mean, look at that. What a waste of time. I was at a coffee shop and I just had these spread out over the whole table, and I felt so bad because I was taking up so much space. But this is going to be much better. I'm very glad I did this. I think it's going to help me be a bit more creative about the key map. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this ramble. Who knows when my next one will come out, or if anybody will even watch this, but I hope it was fun to A, learn about a new hobby, or B, if you know and build computers on your own, or excuse me, keyboards, then maybe it was fun to just hear the perspective of someone that was coming in from this fresh. But yeah, thanks for watching.